Hi guys, two travelers from Mexico, Mark and Paulette. We just wanted to talk about a couple of things today, but first of all I just wanted to say, or we wanted to say, thank you guys so much for subscribing to our channel. We started out doing this just for our friends and family so that they could follow what we're doing and kind of go along with us on our journey. But other people have popped in and seen our videos and they've subscribed, so thank you for that. We appreciate that. And as you notice, our videos are a little bit different than a lot of people's videos. We don't show a whole lot of, what would you say?
Well, I mean, we're not doing a whole lot of activities. We're not, the younger generations. Our videos are more for people that have retired.
Yeah, so that's basically what we're doing, is we're making the videos so people will understand a little bit more about Mexico other than what they're told from the news, media, and what have you. Just from our perspective personally, what we've experienced in these last 3.5 months that we've been in Mexico. So we're just giving our personal perspective, everyday life that we're experiencing, and taking you along on some adventures that we do. So anyhow, so I just wanted to start out and say thank you.
Right. And we're happy and ecstatic that you're along to join us.
Yeah, and I hope you guys feel the same way. Today though, Mark and I wanted to talk about different things that we've noticed in Mexico since we've been here. You want to take the first one and talk about it?
Sure. Now, in the United States, I've noticed that a lot of Mexicans, even on hot days during, construction workers will wear sweatshirts and stuff like that when it's really hot. I, just thought it was just the way that they could do construction. However, being in Mexico, people just do that normally here. It'll be 85, 90 degrees, hot outside, sunny, hot outside, and they'll still be wearing sweaters, sweatshirts. Jackets. Just like it's a normal part of everyday living here.
Yeah, and Mark and I just look at them and like we're sweating just looking at them because it's like they've got to be so hot. It's 90 degrees and like we're wearing short shirts or something like that.
T-shirts, things like that.
Tank tops, and it's just kind of like, wow. I don't know how they do it, but I don't know, maybe they're just used to it and we're not.
Right, they just must have some incredible tolerance for heat that we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're trying just to keep the sun off of them, but I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty darn hot to us.
Yeah. So the second thing we wanted to talk about was noises in Mexico.
The sounds.
The sounds of Mexico. You can't go anywhere without hearing something. Loud music, people driving up and down the streets, advertising services in their cars.
Like produce, like they might be selling produce and they'll have a loudspeaker on their truck.
Mounted on top of their truck, just blasting the neighborhood.
Right.
People driving up and down the streets in trucks, doing appliance and old mattress pickup.
Right, it is like a continual recording that they play on that one.
It just plays in a loop. This is the sound of old mattress pickup, and I believe they also pick up other appliances too that people have just thrown out.
Yeah.
You'll have, and sometimes you have to listen pretty carefully for this, but like where we live, there is no regular garbage pickup service. You have to listen for a guy walking up and down the streets ringing a bell, and then you got to be ready to go with your garbage to get out to the front door.
Before they leave, that's the trick too. You got to pick up those bags, go down like 21 stairs, open that metal door, and have your change that you give them.
Well, for us it's like 21 stairs, but
for us,
when they come, you got to be Johnny on the spot. Otherwise, people might not be coming for a few more days to pick up the garbage, and if you happen to miss it because you're out,
exactly,
then that's too bad.
We've noticed for us too that usually, not always, it seems to be on Saturdays and like Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't think they're the same people, because there's different trucks unless
Right.
they're a business, you know, where they're using 2 or 3 different trucks for them doing this. And then Mark and I, we usually, we will leave like, 25 cents?
Well,
Or
I'm
is-
cheaper
Sorry,
for some reason I'm cheaper than you, which is not normally the case.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll leave, 10 to 20 pesos depending on how much is there.
which is like 50 cents to $1 US dollar.
Yeah,
But our bags aren't really big either.
no,
You know, they're probably about that big of a bag, something like that.
Yeah.
Not real big. And there's a lot of recycling in there,
Mhm.
and that's what they absolutely love. They go through all the garbage.
Right.
You can see them going through it, sorting, and they have big bags in their truck where the plastic goes in one, the cardboard goes in the other, you know, and they just
Yeah.
kind of sort it as they go
And,
through
yeah, they
it.
sort it on the spot. There's will be a guy out the side of the truck going up and down the streets, picking up the bags, picking up the coins that people leave them. And then there'll be a guy inside the truck sorting through all of these bags. And then I guess when they're done with that block, they move to the next block and
And one
repeat the
time
process.
we left our money underneath the bag, you know, thinking that they were gonna come that day or whatever, like we left it out that night. And then, the next morning, you know, we checked and somebody had actually taken like
they took the
$1.
recycling,
Yeah, they took the recycling,
lifted up the bag of garbage that we had,
Yeah.
took the coins, but then left the garbage there.
and
So
left the garbage there, which I felt
Now-
really bad, and that was because we were sorting it. So we
Right.
don't do that
we don't
anymore.
do that anymore. So
It's
they
all in the
took
same bag, and then we had like see-through bags then.
Yeah.
Now we have like
Now
the
we have
white,
the
yeah.
white bags.
So they can't really see, but we put everything together so that
Mhm.
won't happen again. And then sometimes, you know, when we do hear them, we'll go down there and then we'll just give them the money and give them the bags.
Right.
You know, they're always so gracious and,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we'll give them a little bit more. It just
Yeah.
depends.
And like if they're across the street, a lot of times they'll come over and help me bring the stuff over if that's what, if
Yeah.
I need help.
And then some of the other sounds that we hear, we live next to a pharmacy and they have like a boom box.
Yeah.
And so they're always playing their boom box
Playing
music
loud
on the
music.
corner. You know, and a lot of times when you walk by storefronts, there's loud music that's being
Right.
played there too.
And it's just all a part of their advertising that they're there. I mean, the loud sound coming from their store, you're probably gonna look in,
Right.
maybe you see something you like.
Even there's a floral guy, and a lot of times he lives like, or works across the street, and a lot of times we'll hear his music playing. Sometimes not so loud, sometimes loud, but you know, it's just the sounds of music in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, there's always some kind of noise somewhere, meaning something.
Meaning something, yeah.
That we have to figure out, or you know, it's just life, and that's fine.
Mhm.
You know, if you're not going to adapt to noises being played a lot, different sounds, bells, or you
Yeah.
know, like Mark said, repeated music
Mhm.
being played, or repeated broadcasts being played. You know, you're probably not going to do so well.
Yeah.
But we do notice, and we live on a pretty busy street
Right.
out front. And I would say in the evening time though, probably after about 7, it does quiet down, I would say.
It does quiet down.
And it's pretty quiet at night. We
Yeah.
don't hear very many dogs barking either.
Yeah.
Some people, they'll hear dogs all night. Once in a while, we'll
Mhm.
hear maybe one dog, but for the most part, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the hardest sound for me to get used to when we first moved here is the occasional firecracker or fireworks that.
Oh,
that they
yeah,
do.
that's right.
But I mean that's not bad, and it's just it's part of Mexico.
Yeah, and I never see fireworks being sold,
Yeah, I've never seen fireworks being sold either.
but you
so
hear
I don't
them
know.
going off. I mean, some
Yeah.
of them sound like an M80
Yeah.
bomb or something.
So I don't know if they're like homemade things or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
So if you know, leave us a comment
Yeah.
below, because we haven't figured that out yet either.
Speaking of sound, it seems to me like almost every day here in Mexico is cause for celebration of some kind. I mean, they do have a lot of different celebrations. Dia de los Muertos, that goes on for a few days. The celebration of the Virgin de Guadalupe goes on for 6 weeks. And numerous other events.
The Three Kings.
Right.
Christmas celebrations.
Right. And they always have
Day of the Dead. Did you say that one already?
Yeah.
Oh.
They always have like a what we consider like a high school, not a high school drum corps, but they always have bands like that, musicians.
Yeah. That clown celebration thing.
Right, and they close off streets, and there'll be like a whole parade that goes along, and those are pretty loud and pretty festive. And a lot of times, even after the main event is over, there's still festivities and parties that go on after that. So that's just another thing about living in Mexico is that there's almost always.
They love their fiestas,
They do
celebrations,
love their fiestas too.
Noises.
Right, and I think we're loving all of that too.
Yeah.
So.
Except for the firecrackers sometimes, late at night.
That can be a little unsettling.
Yeah. So one other thing that we kind of wanted to mention, or two other things that we've noticed, is around the corner from where we live, there is a sushi restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And that place is always packed.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like at 11 in the morning, it's not, but like as soon as the kids get out of school around 2, it's packed the whole evening. I mean, and it is packed where you can't even get a seat inside.
Right.
So who knew that Mexico loved their sushi, right?
Right.
I mean, I had no idea. The other thing that we noticed too is that Uber drivers, as far as eating, Uber Eats is very alive in Mexico.
It's huge here. You can, as an example, Paulette and I were in a Little Caesar's pizza place. We were there for about half an hour, and during that time, we counted no less than a dozen Uber drivers.
Yeah.
Because they all come in with their identifying clothes that say Uber Eats on them.
With their bags,
right.
Picking up their orders and stuff.
Picking up pizzas and going. And Uber drivers are big here too, but Uber Eats is especially huge.
Yeah, I can't believe, I don't know, I'm just, very Americanized, right. I guess, and I just didn't expect that. I just didn't. And you see them all over the place. They're at the sushi place too.
Yeah.
You don't see like a dozen of them, but you'll see them like in that pickup area. In the pickup area though, there is like about 3 or 4 of them on their motorcycles picking up.
Right.
So it's very much alive in Mexico, that's for sure. So yeah, those were some other things that we had noticed too.
Yeah. So driving here in Mexico, it's different than in the United States in that you don't, if you maintain a car length of, for every 10 miles an hour, you're going to have 3 cars cut in front of you. That's just the way they do it here.
From the right or the left.
Right. And sometimes on both sides at the same time.
Yeah, sometimes it can be crazy.
Especially motorcycles who, just today we witnessed one drive up onto a sidewalk.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was crazy. We were actually in a combi, which is like those van buses that are converted for seats to hold people. And the door was open as we were going along the street side. And this motorcycle, what did you say? Like he maybe had an inch.
He maybe had an inch of clearance.
I couldn't believe it.
God forbid, thankfully no one was actually trying to get out of the van at the time.
Oh God, they would have been hit for sure.
So there's always that, and like I say, if you're in traffic and you leave an inch, someone's going to try to fill that inch with their 10-foot long vehicle or however long it is. And that's just the way of life here. And then sometimes people will be upset and honk their horn, but that's about it. You don't ever hear
that's
people.
another thing. That's another thing I wanted to talk about is you do get the horn a lot. And you know, it's like you could be stuck and it doesn't matter. One person will start honking, the next person will start honking, and before you know it, there's 3 or 4 cars that are honking, and you can't go anywhere. It's just, it's like, what do you want me to do? I can't go anywhere.
That could be part of the whole Mexico loving sounds as well too, honking horns.
It could be.
But that's pretty much where it ends. You don't see people rolling down their windows and shouting obscenities at other drivers or something like that. I have not witnessed that here at all.
And another thing is there's not stop signs, Alto. No stop signs. Well, there are, but very rarely here in Mexico. And so the drivers kind of have this courtesy, unspoken thing, I think, where like one car will go and then the next car will go and the next car will go.
Now I just wanted to show you guys an example of how traffic cooperates with one another at intersections. They very often take their turn, a car will come out, kind of insist on the right of way. But that's how intersections without lights basically work here in Mexico. It's a little difficult to get used to, and it takes some courage to pull out in front of oncoming vehicles, but that's what they do here.
Although sometimes, people won't do that. They'll kind of be rude and they'll go when they're not supposed to, and I'm like, really? Really, you're gonna go? But, for the most part, it's pretty good how it works, believe it or not, with as many cars as there are at a 4-way corner.
Because you don't really see a lot of accidents here. I mean,
no.
It's just the way of life when you're driving here.
Yeah, it's just different. It's not like the United States, but we're here for that reason too, because it's not the United States.
Yeah.
It's not California.
So one of our favorite modes of transportation here in Mexico is using the combis, which is like a public bus, and you stand out on a street corner. If you see your bus coming, they're all numbered usually. Well, they're named a color and then a number. So if you see yours coming, you flag it down, it stops, you get on. And everybody that gets on greets each other. They'll say, buen dia, buenas tardes, buenas noches. And then everybody responds back.
Yeah, they say it back, and then when they get off, what do they do?
They'll say gracias.
Yeah, they always thank the driver. So it's just, something nice. I mean, once in a while somebody doesn't do that. We weren't doing that at first because we didn't catch on, but riding it enough times.
Right, we do it now every time.
Gracias.
And speaking of combis, they're relatively inexpensive. They cost about, we rode on one today, probably at least, half an hour, would you say?
I would say. We went to the bus terminal today.
And it cost us 9 pesos each, which is about 50 cents a piece.
Yeah.
So it's just an amazing deal. And then it dropped us off within a couple blocks of our apartment.
Yeah, it was really good. We thought that we would ride it through. It's we knew that we were pretty safe, being that that's where we live. So yeah, it's a great thing. Sometimes though they get too crowded.
Yeah.
Really crowded. So you just wait for the next one, but they're all numbered. Have we made some mistakes? Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
But it's all a learning process, and we're getting it down. Now we know our Rojo 1 is the one that we take to drop us off nearest our house and to go to the bus terminal.
To the bus terminal.
Yeah.
And if you miss a bus, or the bus is too crowded,
oh gosh,
you wait 3 minutes and another one comes.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the most that we've ever waited, like for the number that we're looking for, is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a great way to get around.
Yeah, it really is. Another thing that we wanted to mention is that we've noticed, like when we go to the Mikado and we pay for stuff, you know, we feel at the Mikado and like at towns like where they're selling stuff on the roadside and stuff like that, and when we've bought something, that they're very honest with us. And sometimes if we're not understanding how much it is, and we have some coins in our hands or whatever, or a 20 peso, which is like $1 US dollar.
Yeah.
You know, they're real good about helping us figure it out and giving us the right amount of change. And I mean, the 3.5 months that we've been here, I don't feel at all, and either does Mark, that we've ever been taken advantage of. And we hear people sometimes saying that that happens, and you know, we're new here and we just haven't been out enough, you know, traveling, and so maybe it will happen eventually.
Right.
You know, it just hasn't happened that we've seen in our experience in the last 3.5 months anyhow.
Right, and what happens is, like, I'm pretty good with numbers and stuff, so if they tell me the number and it's slowly, I can get it and figure it out right away. But a lot of times these vendors are so busy, they just say the number really quickly, and it all runs together for me, and I can't figure it out. And I ask them to repeat, and they say it just as quickly.
Right.
And so a lot of times, you know, if we have an idea, we'll just pull out some coins, and they'll just look at us and say, and then take the appropriate number of coins from our hand. Yeah. And that's it. But you know, every single transaction we've had here has been very, very good. Yeah,
we really feel like we have not been taken advantage of at all on purchasing anything, and unsure about the prices. They're always real good.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to say about that.
And they've always been very kind and very friendly to us, even when we're trying to ask them questions and we're fumbling through our Spanish. We're trying to ask them, you know, about the produce or whatever. And, well, really, it's about a lot of things we bought, you know, and they're very kind and patient with us. Yeah,
that's another thing. Like if we're purchasing something, we're in line or something like that, or like when I went to the pharmacy that one time at Costco, and I thought that she needed like my address, which she didn't need anything, which was crazy. She only needed the prescription, and then she gave that back to me. So, you know, somebody was kind enough to stop. I mean, hearing me, you know, trying to talk to them, and there was a communication thing between me and the pharmacist. And so she stopped and she helped us. And we get that so many times. People have been so kind and so patient and so helpful. Yeah.
And then another example of that, the other day I was in, we were at Costco and I was ordering some food, and they were trying to tell me that in Spanish that you know, wasn't going to be ready for 25 minutes, a particular thing I was trying to order, but I didn't understand it. And then there was a young girl in a line next to me. She leaned over and said to me, you know, they're telling you that it's going to be 25 minutes if you want to order that. And of course, I didn't want to wait 25 minutes, so I moved on to something else. But people, you know, the Mexicans, they step up like all the time for us and help us out.
Yeah. Another thing that, talking about stepping up all the time, is a lot of times we'll see like a young man helping an elderly woman across the street, you know, because the sidewalks are pretty high and stuff like that. And they'll help them. They'll take the time to do that. And I mean, it just warms my heart when I see stuff like that, you know, because they care about the elderly here. It's a respectful thing.
Right. And one of the, the first time we were here in Morelia, one of the things that really stuck out to me here is we were, again, on a combi. There were two young people that were helping a gentleman that was blind, but they helped him get on the bus, get him situated. They weren't riding that bus, so they got back off. But they took the time to help him get on his way. And then once the gentleman got on the bus, he needed to make some phone calls. You know, however, he had to rely on someone else. So another young man riding in the bus looked through his address book and made the phone calls, you know, initiated the phone calls for him. That's just how it is.
It's just awesome. I mean, you don't see that sort of stuff very often in the States.
Yeah,
You just don't.
right.
Everybody's so busy with their own lives that they
Mhm.
don't take the time to help people.
Mhm.
And we see that a lot here.
We see that a lot.
Yeah.
People going out of the way to help perfect strangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. So
Mhm.
that's, another thing that we love about Mexico that we've noticed.
So one of the other things we've noticed has more to do with construction and safety. A lot of the stairwells, in homes and stuff, and even in public places, they don't have handrails. Which can be a little disconcerting for those that are, those of us
That are used to it.
Used to it for sure. And then the other thing that I've noticed in houses is a lot of houses I've been in, they only have one 30-amp circuit running everything in the house, and they are usually ungrounded, which is different because United States, the housing circuitry is all grounded, and usually most houses at least have 100-amp service, but here it's just 30. Maybe part of the reason is a lot of houses don't have dryers, for instance. They just hang their stuff out to be air dried. And that's what comes to mind immediately.
The other thing is the outlets on the wall are about 4 feet
Yeah.
up, instead of we're used to them being like
Mhm.
floor level. Some of them are, but in
No.
our apartment, for example, a lot of them aren't. A lot of them
Right.
are about 4 feet up on the wall, kind of like in the center, and you kind of go, what? But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just different.
In some ways it makes it easier because you don't have to bend down so far to
Yeah.
plug stuff in.
True. And the other day
Yeah.
when I was using that new vacuum cleaner that I had posted on our Facebook page with the same name, anyhow, I was looking for some outlets, and it was a small cord, only about 6 feet long, and it was just
Yeah.
funny. Like I had to unplug it, and every room that I went in, I had to plug it back in.
Right. And the bummer is there typically are not a lot of outlets in the house too, so I think
Yeah.
at some point we're going to have to go buy an extension cord.
Yeah. I think that's in the
maybe
near
a
future.
20 or 25-foot extension cord, so you don't have to stop and unplug your stuff every 6 feet or whatever and try
Yeah.
to find another outlet.
But that vacuum cleaner,
Uh-huh.
it's like a little shop vac is
Yeah.
what it's like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like a little shop vac, and it's got like plastic wheels.
Mhm.
It's all plastic, and we got that at Sam's the other day, and that was like, what did we pay? Like $58 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a crapshoot. Like, is that going to work? Because I'm used to the stand-up,
Mhm.
upright ones. And it was fine. I mean, the suction on it was really good on getting
Yeah.
those dust bunnies. It was
And-
great.
And thankfully, Paulette picked the blue one instead of the girly pink one.
So that he could vacuum
So
too.
that I could vacuum. Maybe that was some sort of subconscious
Incentive.
message she was trying to send my way.
Yeah, could be.
And it might actually work.
Yeah. So anyhow, we just also wanted to, again, thank you guys
Mhm.
for subscribing to our channel, tuning in, following us. Any suggestions that you have, places that
Mhm.
maybe you want us to visit, because we are going to do more trips.
Right.
We were just trying to get grounded a little bit, being new here to the area that we're in. But we
Mhm.
will be doing more trips and sharing information. And I know that some of you guys are foodies out there and you
Mhm.
like to see what we're eating and the cost. So, leave comments like we've said before. Leave some comments and let us know where you want us to go,
Mhm.
or what you want to see more of, or what you don't want to see more of.
Or if you just have any questions in general,
Yeah.
you can leave in the comments below here on YouTube, or join us on Facebook at D2 Travelers in Mexico.
Yeah,
Which
because
is our group.
we post some different
Mhm.
things on there. Sometimes I'll post like rental properties so you could see what the inside of them look like, what the prices are in pesos,
Yeah.
what the US dollars are. you know,
Yeah.
to give people an idea, and it's just
Mhm.
not in Morelia, it's in other areas of Mexico too.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks for subscribing. Love you guys.
What she said.